And welcome to the Raw Review. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by another one, Michael Sidgwick from WhatCulture, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of Nile. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Sidgwick, surprisingly, for once in a blue moon, Michael Hamflett having a day off today. It's his missus' birthday, to be fair to him. But
what's next week?
I don't know. We'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. Michael Sidgwick, we are here to talk about Raw and all the fallout from Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, indeed. A pretty strong 2.5 hours, this. A pretty damn strong 2.5 hours. Dare I say, sorry to the AEW fans who watched this for us, but this was a trifecta Raw, this. Had an angle that built interest in a match I thought was long dead. I don't think anything was absolutely blow away amazing in the ring. In fact, one match I might even classify as a marginal disappointment, but some of the deliveries sort of like equalized it, if you like. And a promo melted my face.
Yeah. Let's get straight into it, I suppose, with that. Obviously, there was a big recap of the madness that was Elimination Chamber, and people arriving to their building, the usual sort of thing there. But the first thing we really see is a very pissed off CM Punk arriving in his Jeep or whatever and jumping out and marching to the ring. He knocks over the prime bottle, jumps on the announce table, grabs a mic and says, "Some people thought I've exhausted all my opportunities of main event in WrestleMania, but I'm here to address my enemies, which means everyone." And he does a bit of crowd work. "Hey guys, who do you think I should bury first? Who are you thinking? Seth Rollins, John Cena, The Rock." And CM Punk settles on the final boss, The Rock, looks down the camera lens and says, "Rock, you bald frauds. You think you're immune from criticism because you're on the board of directors. You don't know who you're dealing with. I'm the best in the world. You're there having a midlife crisis. You just walk in whenever you feel like it and try to hide behind what a big star you are. I'd love to address you in person, but you're never here to grace us with your presence." He takes the piss out of his goosebump things, calls that BS.
Bullshit.
I'm not trying to make work for myself, but that's not happening.
Make work for your pal. It's all right. Do your job.
He says that.
I've written 4,000 words this week.
He says, you pretend to care.
Press a button if you want.
You pretend to care about this business, but I've never been so delusional as to hold a fake title and call myself the people's champion. I earned that right. I've also never been so desperate to sell my soul. He says he could see right through John Cena, who stole something from him at the Chamber. He said, "Look, I gave you the benefit of the doubt when you didn't qualify, but you don't fool me twice. Hustle, loyalty, respect for 20 years. But I knew all along you're just selling bull." We're doing it,
motherfucker.
Right. Punk says he would never give up on his dreams, but then Mr. Don't Quit gave up on his dreams and all the fans and all those kids. He's going to get his hands on both of those bald frauds, and they would both make a wish that he never did. And then he turns his attention to the man who had all of his attention, little brother Seth Rollins. And he tells Becky Lynch, "Come get your man before I put him in a wheelchair." He goes to continue talking about Seth Rollins, but we hear Seth Rollins' theme. We all know how it sounds.
I'm singing every week.
And he storms out, and Punk's like, right, jumps off the table, runs round. They obviously brawl, security officials, they all get involved. But yeah, it is one of the classic, you give us any space, we're going to try and get our hands back on each other. So they get separated, and they both like dive in the ring together, and they get separated, and they're like being led through the crowd, and it's, wait a second, there's a path for me to get to my hands back on them. They keep brawling, some great shots doing their rounds on social media of all this. More on this a little bit later on as well. The crowd are shouting, holy so's Pat McAfee. They finally get separated properly. But yeah, this is far from over between the two of them. But what an opening from CM Punk.
This was absolutely incendiary stuff. Amazing. The guy is absolutely amazing. Love him or hate him, he's undeniably amazing at his craft. And this is well crafted, and yet it didn't really feel crafted at all. I loved it plays off what they do now with those wonderful drone shots, that makes everything seem glamorous in the world of WWE. And then the stars descend on this huge city. It's just a really good tone setter to make this feel massive.
Yeah.
And yes, red hot. But him coming out of the car just made it seem like he was just ranting and raving at the steering wheel. Not like, in the arena for hours ahead of time, practicing it in the mirror, I use that analogy quite a lot.
Yeah.
Who looks like they practice this in the mirror? Even the good ones sometimes feel like, I can picture you practicing this in the mirror, even though it's well delivered. Punk isn't one of those. Punk, and yes, it was the illusion, it was the work, but the idea of him coming in the car, coming into work to read a script and then do the wrestling show, but a really effective touch, produced, of course.
Yeah,
but a really effective touch. Going there, no one has. Cody has said the odd thing to The Rock, and he obviously swore at him at Elimination Chamber. But this sort of character assassination of the final boss and what his real motives are, that must have been stunningly refreshing for some people to hear.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it's a great day. A really good day.
A good day. That must have been wild for some people to hear, very refreshing for people to hear. He's the perfect person to say it. Again, he is the voice of the voiceless. He you can trivialize it. You can say, can he say that? But he's the guy who says the things he's not meant to say. That's part of his gimmick. That's part of his charm. And that's part of his mythology at this point. And for him to point out the John Cena bald spot when very few others, I don't know if maybe Austin Theory did it. I don't know. But when Punk does it, it feels like a transgression.
Yeah.
It feels like he's really going for you and not just some witty line that he's gone for. His delivery here was absolutely immaculate. You could imagine, right, that CM Punk has been pissed off quite often in his career. He has been pissed off quite often in his career. We've heard the stories about it over the years and years. This is what I imagine he sounds like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've heard it brawl out. That was more. What's why he didn't expect it to go the way it did. He wasn't he called them out, but he wasn't incensed in the moment. This is what I imagine those CM Punk meltdowns look like backstage, and the guy is so talented that he did it on TV. Yes, there's probably a little bit of animosity towards The Rock, or at least a certain sense of caution. But, he's got mad respect for John Cena. He wouldn't have thought so when he's saying those words in such great fashion. Hamfler, by the way, messaged me, just said this was only all right. Just in case anyone wanted to know his thoughts on the matter. CM Punk once said...
6 out of 10.
Can you imagine what he would have been like if he was here? Christ almighty, would have punched us in the face by standing up. He did that in Cardiff,
Did he?
He was about 6 pints deep.
Yeah.
I didn't know
sat
this.
there, Clash at the Castle.
He's got a history of this.
He's just because he's a bit, he's a tall guy, and I was sat to his left. It's it's all right when you watch it live. Contrast to Hamflet. Like that. Boulders over. CM Punk once famously said, "I'm the best in that ring, on this microphone, even a commentary." And that last bit was Michael Cole is 100th of the commentator CM Punk is. CM Punk, I've thought for a while, and this is hardly some really hot, insightful take, right? But it's actually up, whatculture.com/WWE. Steve Austin versus The Rock, Wrestling Timelines, a real 12,000 word long chronological deep dive into the history of the Rock versus Austin program, right? And and you watch it and doing the research and recalling certain things, and Jesus Christ, wrestling needs a new Jim Ross, man. Wrestling needs a new Jim Ross. The way he puts Austin over, even in these like 8-minute TV matches that invariably get thrown out and go to a no DQ, and he knows the finish. And he's putting over Austin like it's a demigod walking amongst us, and like even the dumbest diminished return like plot twists of the McMahons doing their nefarious deeds, he would sell it as if he's completely disgusted. CM Punk should replace Michael Cole. He should replace. There should be 11 CM Punks in WWE and in AEW. The guy is so good. If you're the New Day and you're watching this, you're thinking, could we not have had him do it, please? Because they were like. They've done stuff on like panels and stuff. Like they won the WrestleMania panel and stuff, so he could have like said, I developed a rapport, even if they might not have. Big E actually put this promo over as well. Do you see that on Twitter?
No.
But it's a gif of someone cooking, but Phil Brooks, so he knew how good this was. If CM Punk sells that, what have you done to Big E like this? And the New Day are in a much better position. CM Punk is so valuable. Like it's incredible. Because he could do CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, night 2, WrestleMania next year, and it feels enormous. CM Punk is a narrative glue. He's like, he's taking the piss. He could be in the role Cody's in as a babyface. I think. I prefer Cody more. I think maybe Cody's got. I don't think he could do that. Look how over he is. It's unbelievable, right? He could do the Cody role. He could take Michael Cole's job, not just as the snarky, funny heel commentator guy that many people thought, if Punk ever goes into commentary, he'll be Heenan, he'll be Ventura, he'll be Lawler. No parallels between CM Punk and Jerry Lawler, of course.
Certainly not on Becky Lynch's Twitter.
Not according to Becky Lynch.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. If Becky Lynch can say it, who knows?
She's deleted it, so it's fine.
So it's fine. Indeed.
The internet will just forget about it, I suppose.
But that's what people think. That's what the wrestler position.
Yeah.
So the wrestlers do that rather than play-by-play usually. No, he can do play-by-play probably. He could sell this better than Michael Cole. Actually, maybe I'm getting a little bit too mellow in my old age, but people were ripping Cole, and yes, during Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, he was abysmal. Like the most fake calls you've ever heard in your life. I thought he was actually all right during the main event segment.
Yeah.
I was kinder to him than most. But so Michael Cole, CM Punk could be Michael Cole. CM Punk can be Cody Rhodes. And given now that he was the perfect guy to sell the transgression of Sunday night and to just keep it going without anything really developing on the back of it. So if he's being the guy who's like, welcome to Monday Night Raw, here's what's happened, blah, 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 he could be the company mascot. He's going to make Roman Reigns interesting this WrestleMania season. I mean, Roman Reigns, I'm sorry, is a political operator. I think he can't care. He's doing it. If he cares, it's probably good if you're accusing him of not caring. Because if he cares about what he's doing right now, he's if Roman Reigns cares, that means he did his job, because he could just not turn up. And if they did, right, okay, well, Roman's not doing it, he's gone on holiday or whatever, would need to do Cody and we need to do Seth and Punk again, going in a cage at Mania, or maybe it would be a cell at Mania. You think, all right, I mean, Roman, who cares? Like, who cares? Beat Solo, Bloodline's over and done with. It's weird. We live in a post-Bloodline world.
There's more intrigue about Jacob Fatu than anything else.
I know that they're doing the Jake. I know they're sort of loosely aligned over on SmackDown. And yes, when Roman comes back, he'll still be mates with Jimmy and Jay. But this is the longest stretch without true Bloodline drama in ages, and it's weird. It felt a bit unfocused as a result. You could argue WWE, but now from Elimination Chamber, it's even bigger than the Bloodline. Like, or it feels hotter. I'll tell you what, Punk could even be the narrative glue that is Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The guy who connects the characters to one another. This was outstanding. It felt like the most pissed off you've ever heard a backstage report of CM Punk. What does that sound like? Yeah, it sounds like this.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we were talking about this on the preview as well, weren't we? Of like, is Cena going to be there? And you were like, I hope he isn't. And I completely agree with you. And especially after this, you don't want to hear from him for a while. And like Rock could have been a surprise, but you sense that probably wasn't going to happen just yet. They got a long time till WrestleMania. We were like, well, you know, how do you fill that void of people wanting to know that? And this was the perfect antidote, wasn't it? Of just
if you're the New Day, you're watching this thinking, that's what we needed. That's exactly what we needed the entire friggin' time.
But just unbelievable again from CM Punk. And, well, we'll get back to more of him and Seth Rollins a little bit later on. I saw someone describing them on X as Peter Griffin and the Chicken, which I thought was a great comparison. But yes, circling back,
you're going to do your Layla Hirsch voice there.
Circling back to the events of Saturday night, we see more on Cena's heel turn. I said I did ups and downs today, and I said on it, it felt like the amount of times they were showing this heel turn, obviously just to like hammer it home, but it also felt a little bit like WWE going, that this did happen, right? I want to double check that everyone saw this happen, and they showed people's reactions. Some kids were crying, which is funny. And then we go to the clubhouse, the Judgment Day are there, and they're not too downbeat about Liv Morgan not winning the Elimination Chamber because, of course, they've got the tag team titles now, Raquel and Liv. And Liv says, I'll be world champion again one day. And maybe it's Raquel's time to win the IC title. And Raquel says she's going to keep an eye on the title match later on in the evening. Dom again tries to push the idea of another member. Finn's like, we're not doing that. He's also pissed at Dom and Carlita for what happened with Bron Breakker last week. And Dom's like, you were the one with the share, dickhead. But Balor says he's going to go and deal with Bron later on in the evening. And Dom concludes by asking Liv Morgan about Jade Cargill, and Liv's like, I'm not getting involved. I had nothing to do with it, and I want to stay clear of all this. Yeah, we love Liv Morgan now. This is a Liv Morgan appreciation podcast.
It is. I still hate the Judgment Day, though. Still want this to just end. I don't care about this.
I want them to get to this new member stuff because it's like, okay, you've teased it. It's going to happen. You wouldn't put this out there if it wasn't going to happen. Maybe it happens during the Bron Breakker match. Who knows?
Who knows?
But we get Gunther versus Otis next. Gunther obviously had his thing with Akira Tozawa and Otis saving his mate, set this up. Gunther cuts a promo beforehand though, saying, Otis, what do you see when you look in the mirror in the morning? I see a man wearing a world championship belt. What's you see a man looking for a belt that fits?
Yeah, before that as well, he said, people say that you're a freak of nature, Otis. I just see a freak.
He's the best.
I love him. I think he's great.
Maybe he could be great if you had a bit of self-respect, huh? I'll teach you about self-respect. Speaking of which, Jey Uso, bang, cheap shot. He cheap shot Otis. He's Gunther. But he's like, bollocks.
That makes a good heel. He doesn't need to do that. He wants to do it. There's a want. It's a desire to be a knob. Being a dick is mint, man.
So
it's mint.
We're
leaving that guy flustered. It's great. You shouldn't suck up to Triple H so much. You should know better. You apologized on the off chance Levesque was listening or watching the other day.
He did.
I'm sorry, Paul. You're a great booker.
So obviously,
have some self-respect.
Gunther kicks the crap out of Otis early on, but can't get him down with his shoulder. This is Otis we're talking about, and Otis gets knocked to the outside eventually by some big boots.
I'm not talking about chocolate yet, or like soaps. That's what the WWE coverage is usually about.
No. This is all killer, no filler.
So we're not talking about curly whirlies or anything.
Talk about curly whirlies if you want.
You like curly whirlies?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's me and chocolate form, isn't it?
I was confused. That's what happened on Dynamite last week, so maybe I'll tank this.
Talk about chocolate when Punk's melted it all, though, isn't it?
This is true.
Otis fights back on the floor. He hits a fall-away slam to take us to a break. When we come back, Otis is in trouble again, but he's powering up. He's enjoying the chops, and he asks for some more. Please, sir, can I have another? Tears off his shirt.
It's awesome, man.
Headbutt, splash, body slam, another splash. Hits the caterpillar elbow drop to get a 2. Misses the Vader bomb, though, and Gunther just drop kicks him across the ring. Otis does come back, countering a power slam, but Gunther just keeps taking his head off with clotheslines, I think including one to the back of the head. Big boot, another clothesline, power bomb, 1, 2, 3.
Wrestling is often better when it kind of looks like it's going a bit wrong. The sense of struggle so often especially nowadays, that wrestlers don't know how to do it. So when they quite literally stumble into it, it just electrifies me. I don't know what it is. When Otis, he must have been gassed or something, because when he fell into that elbow at the end on Gunther, I was like, that is such a feature, not bug. That's not gone the way you've wanted it to go. It actually looks much better. Looks totally fatigued. Like the very idea of him going toe-to-toe with Gunther with that awesome chop battle was, it's just like, my tank's gone. I've emptied everything just trying to hang in there against this monster. So I loved how it went wrong when it went wrong. It was imperceptible, but I noticed and I enjoyed it. I like the idea. I will say, that's it now. Because Gunther promised Jey Uso 10 weeks of hell. This, I was going to say it feels frivolous compared to the other world title match, but it doesn't stand a chance anymore.
No.
So maybe it is good to spotlight various wrestlers and make people remind people of why they like them so much, especially if they're finally going to do something with Otis and Gable. And maybe this is a nice, resourceful use of the roster in a world title program. And maybe it doesn't have any chance compared to the Sunday main event, which it probably doesn't. So maybe I'll just wind my neck in and say this is fun.
We've got 6 more weeks of Raw before WrestleMania. One of them we've said before is probably Gunther killing Big Jim, perhaps. But like you say, I don't need him to now go. I mean, he's not going to go Maxine Dupree, but go around R-Truth or something like that. I'm just another fan favorite. It's done this now. Next week's all about Jey. We've got the 8-10 down under. Go on.
Got an idea, and I'm going to forget this for the next time we preview it. Jey Uso 1 week should get the advantage, the momentum. It's I kicked Gunther's ass, and Gunther was sent fleeing off for whatever reason. And then Gunther could say, I'm going to get you at some point on Raw next week, and build it as I'm going to find you, meet me in the middle of the ring, or if you can't do that, I'm going to find you and kick your ass. And then he should do that, but it's Jimmy.
Ooh.
You are exactly the same to me. Just a tag team wrestler.
Yeah. This is a
who hasn't done anything really as a singles guy. Because that was the whole premise of main event Jey Uso,
Yeah. Anyway, post-match, he keeps beating on Otis, puts him in a sleeper, so Tozawa makes a save jumping on his back, but Gunther just uses him as a weapon, powerbombs him onto Otis. He's about to carry on the beatdown, but Jey Uso's music hits. He runs down to a huge pap, obviously. There's a bit of a brawl, a spear. Gunther gets knocked out of the ring. Jey poses, yeet, yeet. But he's attacked from behind by Grayson Bloody Waller and Austin Bloody Theory. But
why?
Jey fights back.
I missed something last week on Raw when I was off.
Yes, there was definitely a backstage thing with them.
All right.
Yes, because I'm fairly certain there was a previous time where Austin Theory was like, yeet. What was he doing? Like we had again later on here. But yeah, Grayson Waller and Austin. I don't think it's a triple threat. It's obviously a handicap match they're doing next week. But the triple threat they had in NXT was the tits. So more of that, please. And it was effectively a handicap match, that as well. I'm not sure Jey Uso's quite on the level of Obafemi, but...
No, dramatically, it's all wrong.
Jey makes a comeback. Yeah, Spears Theory. Looks like he's going to stand tall, but Gunther slides back in and chokes him out and then stands over him holding up the belt.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's good. I really enjoyed this match, actually. Again, I think it's using the specific characters of the remnants of Alpha Academy will trivialize this a little bit, but I think for now it's an interesting detour before you get to the proper heavy heat angles in the weeks before the show.
You can have Jey versus Kaiser, for example, in the build to WrestleMania as well.
All right, Tony. A spreadsheet book in that, isn't it, pal?
Wait a second. If he beats one member of Imperium...
You should start saying that on this on WWE coverage.
We get a video package for the main event, Rhea Ripley versus IYO SKY, with heavy emphasis on the fact that Rhea has never beaten IYO, of course, which is... and I didn't realise quite how long it was since they'd last faced each other. We see UFC Hall of Famer Clay Guida in the crowd, which was lovely to see. And then Kathy Kelly's backstage with AJ Styles. Yeah, we're into it now. So she asks him what he thinks of the ending of Elimination Chamber, and he says, "Wow, I didn't see it coming." Nicholas, can you change to Sidgwick's camera here very quickly? And you be AJ Styles. It's not that surprising if you think about it, he says. AJ's like, get off me. You're a long-time legend just like John Cena, says Carrion. You know how frustrating it is for the new generation of talent not to give you the proper respect? I mean, his voice was great here. I mean, where does Logan get off talking trash to you, huh? AJ's having none of this. He's like, what? He says
he's too thick to have his mind control. Just doesn't work on these mind games. How can you play games with whom that has no mind? What? He says, what the are you talking about?
Do you reckon when he said,
as a matter of fact, who the is this guy?
Do you reckon when he said, I'm not John Cena?
Karrion Kross?
That was all he was thinking about.
Are you talking about my Jesus?
He says, maybe the WWE Universe needs a reminder of who I am. He's going to call out Logan Paul in Madison Square Garden next week.
Oh, he's so thick that he just gets manipulated into doing what Karrion Kross wants immediately.
Yeah, Karrion Kross, he describes as the devil on his shoulder, but God already knew his evil ways. Styles left.
Reverse psychology, that's satanic.
Kross is like, that was easy. Best. Just hopping onto it.
Ah, hey, everybody, old pal.
That's not that surprising. Think about it.
He's good. He loves it.
Obviously,
he's clearly having loads of fun with this.
He was the catalyst for John Cena's turn, of course. Well, we don't know how yet, but it will be revealed.
It will be revealed. It reveals all when at his own leisure. Now had a lot of time with this. They're setting up the Bron Breakker multi-man, aren't they?
Yeah. I think
he's so many guys.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Put Karrion in there and give him the belt and beat everybody. Yes. Just gets he literally manipulates everyone to think, I've got to fight everyone. He just climbs the ladder when no one's looking. Easy. Doesn't take a single bump in the match or jumps on someone's back like a pigback.
Hey,
here we go. Thank you. I don't know why Karrion Kross sounds like that.
Nope, me neither, man.
Moving on. The first of our 3 title matches of the evening. It was the women's IC title, Lyra Valkyria versus Ivy Nile. I feel like we say this every bloody time, Sidge. A really good match for the women's IC title where the crowd couldn't have cared less until the work was so good it got them into it.
I was actually shocked by how much I and the fans got into it.
Yeah. I mean, it was really good stuff, but yeah, again, it's just you don't give them a reason to invest other than, well, Lyra's babyface and she got attacked, so title's on the line now. Understandably, people aren't going to be straight out of the gate for this one.
It's almost like they don't tell stories.
Mm-hmm. I'll leave that for him to tackle when he's back.
Well, Hamlet. That they don't tell stories, not fair. It's a regular picture house. Cinema.
So Lyra is very aggressive early.
Story,
very aggressive early on. That's the story. She's reacting to Nile's attack. And then Nile, Dragon screws her leg. She's cutting out the legs from underneath her to take us to a break. When we come back, Valkyria fights back and hits a sit-out powerbomb. But, my bloody leg! She can't make the cover. Valkyria goes for a tornado DDT, but Nile, God, she's freakishly strong, just stops it, deadlifts her into a vertical suplex for 2. That was nice.
That's when the crowd started, like, purr.
Mm-hmm. And Valkyria goes for a finisher. My bloody knee! Falls down. Nile is the one to hit a sit-out powerbomb this time for a 2. She gets a brutal-looking ankle lock in there. She's grapevining it and all that. And Valkyria's gets through the ropes. Ivy Nile did hit a German suplex, but missed a boot in the corner, and Valkyria followed that up with a neck breaker and the Nightwing to retain the title. 1, 2, 3.
Other than that sad absence of heat, that will always be. You can hear the silence. You can hear the silence. It's always like it just limits.
Well, they were at the, of course, at the Key Wank. arena, but it was almost like you could hear a different bodily function from a pest during this match.
Yeah, almost as if, whereabouts is it? Kiwag?
Buffalo.
Buffalo, New York City. City of dreams, city of rats. And
That's what they say.
Can you hear one of them piss on cotton? I don't know. Is that anything?
Yeah. Hang on. Yeah, it is.
That's what they call it. City of Rats.
New York, concrete jungle, and there's some rats here. Yeah, it was.
Hang on, I've got to. Oh my God, get the. Keep talking.
Yeah, it was a very good match, but the crowd had no reason to invest in it early on. But Ivy Nile, yeah, we've said this for a long time since her time in NXT. She is freakishly strong, and that was showcased here. I don't know where. Oh, I suppose Lyra Valkyria goes to Raquel next. I was going to say I don't know where she goes next, but she's already got a belt. She's got the tag title, so
Yeah, well, she couldn't possibly have two belts.
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha ha ha!
New York City, where dreams are made of. Yeah. City of dreams, city of rats.
yeah.
According to my phone, as of
I'm sorry, can we just take a minute to appreciate the little finger holding of the
Oh,
lollipop?
look at that.
That's pretty good.
Look at that.
Pretty good.
Pretty. It's like the Tony Soprano
Yeah.
finger. As of 2023, there are how many rats in New York City, according to a study by MMPC, a pest control company.
Was New York the home of Pizza Rat?
Pass.
Seen Pizza Rat? You seen
Probably more than one.
the pizza, the
Don't
rats.
tell me he's a rat who has
Rat
pizza.
eating the pizza.
Yeah.
On the subway, I believe. I will go
That feels
with
accurate based on what we know
Yeah.
about New York.
there's that, and then there was like a cockroach smoking a cigarette or something. I'm fairly certain.
What they call it? City of cockroach smokers.
I don't know. I don't even know what a good number is for this, so I'll go 10,000.
You know how big New York is.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's not a lot of
Try again without embarrassing yourself this time.
Okay, let's go.
10,000.
Let's go.
A third of the amount of people in the Sky Dome at the weekend.
Yeah.
In rats, basically.
Well, there's not a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
So, let's go 250,000.
Approximately 3 million rats.
Jesus,
This is a
it'd be
42%
deafening if they pissed on cotton collectively.
increase from the previous decade. Do you want to know how the rat population has grown? The rat population
Or wrestling events.
has increased in all boroughs, fueled by food waste from outdoor diners during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh,
Put your food in bins, come on.
yeah,
Or better yet, eat it all up.
yeah.
Budget cuts have also contributed.
That's how the rats have lost their jobs.
I'm gonna chase my dreams in New York, the big city, the big apple, take a bite. Anyway, anything more to say about the IC title? No, we've done that.
Very respectable. I don't know if I'm saying this because of that elusive finally got their audience reaction, but it did feel like the match ended as soon as they started making noise.
Yeah,
so I
it's
don't
like
know if
9 minutes or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if it was a sudden finish on that basis or if I'd have liked Lyra Valkyria to sell a leg a little bit before the finish. Seemed a bit sudden. Like she was doing a pretty histrionic job of like going, ow! And then like 30 seconds later, she just wins.
When they talk about ring rats, is that ones who like help set up the...
Just move on.
Okay. Jackie Redmond tries to interview Seth Rollins, and this was the point where she's like, "Oh, bit of chaos." You can see him Punk going, and he's like, "He's over there," and they just run at each other again. And security like, "Oh bloody hell, not again!" This time, Postman Pierce gets between them and argues with Seth Rollins after a break, saying, Well, Rollins says he wants to do to Punk what he did to Roman, finish him, make sure he doesn't make it to WrestleMania. And Pierce announces a steel cage match at Madison Square Garden next week for the two of them.
Yeah, let's just do the preview now, shall we? That's when Roman Reigns is probably going to come back.
Yeah.
But we'll book how. We will book how. We'll try and determine how, folks.
And it will just be me and you again.
He's got that toss-up. I missed the Raw preview, but Revolution's 4 hours long, so I'll just skive that one, shall I? Part-timer. Here's a question for you. This is good. This is good stuff. I'm shocked. Post January 6th, that I still give a toss about something to do with Punk and Rollins. Here's something. When was the last time CM Punk was in a long-term program that was like, don't care?
Ooh.
Because I really can't remember. There was I thought the Drew stuff was a little bit overrated, frankly, and there was a few bad, like the referee deal at Clash at the Castle was dumb as hell, but it was never not like, it was very rarely boring. And on the whole, it was very, very, very good. He can make out interesting elevator.
Yeah, that is. I was running through his feuds there in my head.
Probably the Ryback Heyman.
yeah. When he was just
genuinely, I know you had the 7 years off, but that's probably it.
Hey, clean slate. Let's start again. Let's go out there tonight and kill it. Meant to throw me on a table, misses the table, tilts my pelvis, screws me up 4 weeks. Still just burnt into my brain, that.
Are you doing that deliberately? Or are you dumb as f***? I'm sorry, I'm dumb as f***.
Such a good put down. He admitted it to me. So. Good stuff. Then we get a promo in the ring from Ludwig Kaiser.
What the f*** is that? Is that new?
It's sort of developing week by week. My Ludwig Kaiser impression.
One day you're going to come off the chair and it's going to be great.
Yes.
I can only hope I've got the
If
camera.
you honestly, that's the thing. If you like come near me and jump off, I'll just instinctively elbow you.
But he demands all the fans' gratitude. He said he last week took back the attention that Penta had stolen away from him. Called himself a future world champion. Warned Penta to stay away from him because what Cena did to Cody will be nothing compared to what he is willing to do to Penta. Then Penta came out in his street clothes, but with all the pomp and ceremony, and he attacked Kaiser and took him out with a dive. Interesting this now, especially with the Rey Fenix news. I want to know your thoughts on that, actually.
Yeah. Phoenix and Penta versus Kaiser and Dunn, leading on to bigger and better things, you'd hope.
New Day.
Yeah.
Lucha Bros New Day.
Yeah.
Mania.
Bit of a holding pattern we are in right now. Penta. Is the bloom off the rose here, do we think?
I don't know whether it's just...
It's not a great deal.
They were a bit umming and ahhing in terms of what he was going to be doing at WrestleMania until they got this Rey Fenix news, because we talked about Rey Mysterio being
involved. It's almost like an AEW coded push, this. Comes in, wins some random matches, as if that's a bad thing, because he's, he should be vying for titles. Then, put him on main event. It's like a bad AEW push. I would argue that away from the, it's the magic fed land. Everything's better here. And I've had to swallow. It's an AEW coded push, not one of their best ones, and it's getting a bit boring, I would argue.
One of my mates I saw at the
Still
weekend.
all along, wasn't that for our first match, wasn't that?
His son is obsessed with Penta now. Just like, he likes things a little bit that scare him as well. Like, he liked Asuka when she was around. And I saw him over the weekend, and he's like, "Well, so what's the deal with this Penta?" He didn't watch AEW. He said, "What's the deal with this Penta?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, he's class, obviously, in AEW, blah, blah, blah." Sort of made him in WCPW, all that sort of thing. And then I said, "Oh, you should wait till his partner gets there." He's like, "What's he like?" I was like, like Mad Penta seems to, because he was, I know we've seen, you and I would have seen a lot of
destroyers and
yes,
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We saw a lot of that in AEW, but if you haven't watched him there, you're like, what the bloody hell, this? I was like, wait till Rey Fenix shows up.
That rope run kick is the first time I ever watched that. I was like, what? How have you done that? I had the Van Terminator effect of how the hell have you done
Kathy Kelly interviews Bianca Belair. She's obviously processing everything with Jade Cargill, Naomi from Elimination Chamber. She's going to talk to them personally before she addresses it publicly, which is fair enough, but she does feel guilty and sad about what happened, but proud about winning the Chamber, and she's going to be there in the audience for tonight's main event. She put over both Sky and Ripley. Regardless of who won, they're both going to learn why you can't spell WrestleMania without E-S-T.
Every time I see Bianca Belair, I just think, what a nice person that's. She seems.
There's a bit of me that wants to see what we talked about it with the Street Profits as well in relation to Bianca, but like what a heel version of the Street Profits or a heel version of Bianca Belair looks like. But also, they're so likable that you're like, I don't know if I could bring myself to be.
I'd worry about Bianca Belair as a heel. Maybe she could be a total revelation, but nah. She just always seems like
Weird. Is it going to be
a good vibes person?
Yeah, not getting ahead of ourselves, but is it going to be 3 baby faces in a triple threat, effectively, at WrestleMania? For this women's title.
I don't know. I don't know. Did Naomi do it?
Yeah. I think it's well,
She's a heel then, Paul.
Yeah, but she's not going to be involved in it. I mean, I meant
Bianca,
Io, and Rhea.
Oh, you think Rhea's going to... Oh, well, save that for later.
Yeah, we'll save it.
Even next week if you want.
Right. During the break, I just wanted to mention Waller and Theory getting interviewed because I did like before even asking a question, Grayson Waller was like, I'll sell my soul to The Rock. I was like, I can relate to that, yeah.
I'll sell my soul.
And then we see Chad Gable at the Los Hermanos meat market asking locals if they've seen this person, this mysterious man who's going to help him. And he eventually wanders down this dark alleyway and meets this mysterious person who says, you can't fight what you don't understand. And he's got a box. Could be anything in that box.
Could even be a boat.
And there's a bit of comedy with like Gable paying him for it. But the man says, Master Gable, I can't remember how he addressed him, you now wield power beyond your understanding. And you get the full-on sort of Pulp Fiction, open the box, eyes wide. He goes to pull something out of there, but what's in Chad Gable's box? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't. I had the same thought as seemingly everybody did on my timeline or people were tweeting it, whatever. He gets sold a rubbish mask.
Okay.
That he's been sort of like conned into buying. He wears it on Raw, and then Phoenix just runs across the top rope, kicks him in the face.
Kicks the mask off.
Maybe. And then kills him and beats him.
Yeah. I'm fascinated by Chad Gable's box. I'm really excited to see more of that.
I hate the presentation of this sort of thing. It has to be, if you're going to go
I said
full
this was divisive on ups and downs, yeah.
It has to be really good, and this wasn't really good. I think it was like, I think it was meant to be funny. I think it was meant to be funny with the paying thing, but it was just like WWE. People who aren't going to enjoy this take. I don't care. Bad at cinema whenever it tries. Like that stuff with Rock and Roman and Punk in that sit down. That was diabolical. Diabolical.
Terrible.
If you did that for 90 minutes or 120 minutes as a movie with those exact techniques, you're looking at one of the worst movies ever made. Ever. In terms of the choices and the sheer volume of the close-ups and the total lack of understanding of the form and how to build tension and how to do anything. Terrible at cinema, says don't try.
I liked it. I liked the one with Cody and Roman at the football field as well.
That was better than was better than the Cody Roman one. I mean in life, you thick asshole.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. They had to specify. You're in my way. Even that would be pretty heavy-handed subtext of, right, okay, well, I see what they're going for. You mean something else, and anyone can infer that. Not everyone.
Not everyone.
No, I mean in life, asshole. Do you get it? Scene.
Who do you think has got a better box, right? Chad Gable or us? Because let's not forget, delivery we got just recently.
Hey, Hafler!
Hafler's here, the Hafler box.
That's a fine box.
There you go. And Chad Gable, that can be yours for however much you gave to that bloke as well. Right. moving on. It was the tag team title match. It was the War Raiders. Did he call them Viking Raiders at one point on this show and corrected himself?
Probably.
What year is it?
I've lost count.
War Raiders versus the Creed brothers. Big lads brawling to start. Obviously, the usual stuff from the War Raiders. Kicking people, kneeing them in the head.
Cutting people.
Ivar handspring elbow. But to take us to a break, Ivar climbs up the ropes. And Julius, he was on a mission tonight.
Oh my God.
Drop kicks him out to the floor. That looked
That
great.
was splat.
And then
Enjoyed that.
when we come back, the Creeds have Ivar up for a stalling double vertical suplex, which looked great. Julius also hits Eric with an angle slam. Brutus hits a 450 splash
Oh my God.
for a 2 count. Julius also hit Eric with a superplex, but Brutus missed the moonsault. Then Ivar missed the moonsault because Brutus rolled out of the way. So Julius hopped up to the top rope and hit a shooting star press
Oh my God.
for a great near fall. They set up for their finish, the Brutus bomb, but Eric slips out. Julius gets knocked to the outside of the ring and just mashed against the side of it by that crossbody from Ivar. And the Raiders hit Brutus with the War Machine to get the 1, 2, 3.
Probably like Bruce's face during the finish. He looked dead on his feet. Really good. It didn't make me go, just bleed. It wasn't so out of this world, bombast, everything's amazing. But my God, it started to trend in that direction.
Yeah.
I started to get that elusive feeling of I'm watching something really cool. It is a feeling, it's hard to articulate, but you are watching, hoping beyond hope that this is going to get progressively more insane and you're going to get your mind blown, and I'm prepared to go on that journey. And I was just like approaching the gateway into that feeling. And I didn't deliver it completely, but like I would pair these together more often. Maybe, and I'm not just doing the bit here, maybe put a boat. Maybe put a boat on, because
sell me on that.
This put me on the boat.
Yeah.
This match could be anything. It could even be a boat.
Yeah, this was the Creed brothers we've been missing for a while. They had that DQ thing with them a couple of weeks back that was really frustrating. That has obviously just
fell
led
flat
back
for a
to us.
while, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But this is what they should be doing.
Again,
Going balls to the wall.
the flashbacks to when we first saw them in NXT. They're never going to be that reckless again. But that was
Awesome.
that was awesome. But they
Good
are. Yeah,
days.
this is what they're best at. And this is why Sid has been so confident and praising of Julius Creed about being such a
Kid's got
star.
something.
Yeah, I mean that shooting star press was just like, well, not many other people that his size could do that sort of thing. Great stuff. Disappointing they obviously didn't win the tag titles, but yeah, we'll see. I do hope this better.
Like dumb asses making progressively more dumbass decisions to the
At
point
least
where
at least you got the gear right now.
Yeah.
Stupid American.
It's just good, just dumbasses doing dumbass, awesome stuff. And eventually they tried too much and it cost them. Lovely little, good storytelling. This dumb jocks got too dumb for their own good.
There's a recap of what happened with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber, and obviously the return of Randy Orton. Michael Cole confirms that Zayn has re-aggravated his neck injury, his spinal nerve issues as well.
Who's this?
He's out indefinitely. Do you think Zayn's missing Mania?
Nah, I think it's a work. Wrestling thing.
Yeah, that could be the case as well. There's just a bit of me that thought, I wonder if they're just not doing anything, because people are like, oh, I'm not sure about this Karrion Kross Sami. I am, but everyone else seems to be a little. Kevin Owens is obviously facing Randy Orton.
Yeah,
That's done and dusted. I just, for a split second, and I know I've done that thing that I do a lot, Sidge, of I've created a scenario and then I've worked past that as if that's what's already happening. So in my head,
And he praised it as a result.
No. I'm just thinking Sami Zayn wins the Rumble, goes on to fight for the world title at WrestleMania next year. So working back from that would actually be quite nice if they do that. If they decide to have Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn for the world title at WrestleMania next year, Sami Zayn winning the Rumble to get there.
I wouldn't do that to Sunday.
But
Sorry.
actually,
I don't give a fuck.
the story of it being like I had to miss WrestleMania last year because of you, and now I'm coming to WrestleMania.
I don't hate that, mate.
Something there, but I don't know.
Don't hate him.
But I also don't want Karrion Kross to miss out on his
On his. I really like him.
Yeah, I don't have the end to that sentence. I'm glad you came cut across me there because I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, I mean, if he makes a noise in a singles match at WrestleMania with the sun blaring and it's that number 2 match and it's got, well, that happened written all over it. I really like Aaron Cross, but he's just...
What if he hosts?
It's brilliant.
Please welcome celebrity. Corrupts. And then if he hosts, anything that happens from the next year on...
See...
I mean, did I have a hand in that? Who's to say?
Yeah.
We see a pre-tape promo from the LWO. They say New Day can try and put them down, but they can't take their hearts.
Hey, Dijak, take those stupid sunglasses off. We're inside.
Wagner watch.
Come Tuesday.
Miss him so much, man.
I love him, man.
Ray tells Kofi and Xavier, enjoy your vacation this week because next week me and Dragon Lee are going to give you the worst Monday of your life. Tornado tag, anything goes basically next week. Ray's proud of his crew, his Latinos, and by the way, New Day sucks.
Yeah, but that's been for ages, this, isn't it? Didn't it?
Yeah, I knew where we were heading.
Yeah. Been on for ages.
I think this started during a break, but it bled into what happened next because Bron Breakker, he's in the crowd, he's getting interviewed. He says, look, took courage for the Judgment Day to do what they did. Dom walking around with that dirty Sanchez of his. Carlito being the Apple man. He's about to start slagging off Balor, but I think as we're coming back from a break, Balor comes out to address him anyway. Balor says, Bron, you're only champion because Judgment Day let you. And Bron says, no, I'm a champion because I'm a dog. And I embarrassed you last week. Balor says, I'm untouchable in the ring. I eat rookies like you for breakfast. There's going to be no more dogs barking if we wrestle because I'm going to put you down. Bron storms down to ringside. There's an attempted sneak attack by the rest of Judgment Day. Carlito gets sent over the barricade. Dom gets caught and suplexed. But then as Bron comes into the ring, Balor hits him with a sling blade, but it's not enough to keep him down. Balor grabs him. It looks like he's going to kill Finn Balor, but Dom pulls him to safety. So Bron's like, I'll just kill Carlito then instead. Just takes him out of his goddamn shoes.
He's a rubbish bumper, isn't he? Carlito, it's like the worst spear I've seen in ages. With so much of this presumed Intercontinental title picture, and again, Penta seems to have been removed from it. So who's left in it, really? Balor, AJ, Logan Paul.
Yeah. Karrion Kross.
Really?
No, we're just hoping for him. Balor, AJ, Logan Paul, Finn.
Yeah, Sheamus. Maybe a ladder match. I don't know. It's just it's the sort of thing that I can't really invest in. It's not a personal issue that draws money.
It is just, let's try and get all these people who were there or thereabouts to get on the card. We see another video package of John Cena's heel turn. This time it was clips of spliced in with heroic John Cena, good John Cena from the past. Now he's a bastard, and fans being very upset with him. And Cole says, I spoke earlier today with Cody
He's always
Rhodes.
been a knob.
And Rhodes had little to say, but he's going to address it on Friday.
I like that little detail. Obviously, he's not going to come out on this episode of Raw and just, spunk his load.
Imagine if he did the old Cena thing of like, well, got my ass headed to me on Saturday, guys, but hey!
Yeah.
Remember when he used to do that all the time?
I used to hate it. He used to make a nonsense of the whole thing. It's cool that he's like, he doesn't know how to process it either. If we can't articulate it and just say variations of the phrase, that was great, that was shocking, that was unbelievable. If it actually, in character, in storyline, if it happened to you, you wouldn't know what to say neither.
We'll talk more about it on the SmackDown preview later on this week, of course. Otis is in the back, getting checked over. Jey Uso's checking on him. And Kathy Kelly asked Jey about what happened with Gunther, whether it threw him off his game. And he said, yeah, a little bit. Gunther does have me doubting myself. But he fires back up, says he's got his back against the wall, feeling suffocated. Nobody picks him up but himself. Gunther threatened 10 weeks of hell, but Jey is going to walk through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil. Yes, Gunther put him to sleep tonight, but he just woke up a beast. 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet! And then he walked out into the bloody catches death. You see that? Walked out into the buffalo weather with no top on.
You can get a chill, but, you know, being in cold weather can't give you a cold. You know this, don't you? You can get a chill.
You can't get a cold.
You can't get, like... No, you can't.
Just seems silly. You won't feel the
It
benefit.
can make you feel a bit weird if you're out there in the cold with not enough layers on. It's different to a cold. Very different.
Good to know. Main event? Okay. Bianca Belair comes out first, obviously, to watch from ringside. It is Rhea Ripley defending the Women's World Championship against IYO SKY. Very even, obviously, early on in this, until Ripley pulls Sky out of the ring, swings her into the side of it and hits a vertical suplex. Dominates as we go to a break. But during the break, Sky comes off the top and stamps on her arm. She also fights back after the break with a backstabber, drop kick, forearm, missile drop kick. Ripley tries to fight back, but Sky hits a double foot stomp for 2. Runs off the ropes, but Ripley hits a big boot. Tries for the riptide, but Sky counters that into a DDT. And then, does all of Damage Control's moves. There's a running corner boot to go Kai. Flying elbow drop. God, I love Kairi Sane's flying elbow drop so much.
Yeah, it's great.
And an Asuka lock. But Ripley manages to fight out of it. Sky does hit the running knees in the corner, but gets caught at the top by...
cool storytelling.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kenny Omega.
Gets caught at the top by Rhea Ripley, who hits an avalanche back suplex for 2. She puts Sky in the prism trap, but Sky sends her into the ring post to get out of it. And Ripley is stood on the apron, and Sky hits a running sunset flip powerbomb off the apron into the barricade. Also gets Ripley back in, and hits a moonsault onto Ripley's back. Goes to the pin, 1, 2, right at the last second, Rhea Ripley puts her foot on the rope. She tries to bail to the outside to recover, but Sky follows her out with a diving crossbody. Tries for an Asai moonsault. Rhea Ripley catches her and drops her onto the announce table. She'll happily just take the win by any means at this point. She slides into the ring to get the count-out victory. But Bianca Belair, who's sat there watching all of this, encourages IYO SKY to get back in the ring, and she does just beat the count at 9. Rhea's not happy about this. What the bloody hell are you doing, Bianca? Bloody involved in my goddamn match, huh? She gets in Bianca Belair's face. There's a shoving match. Yeah. What are you doing here? Set out here on your own anyway. I thought you had, Jade and Naomi. Oh, no, wait a second. Got no mates.
I love it. I love it.
Anyway, shoving match, but referee Jessica Carr does a brilliant job of I'm not going to call for a DQ here. Just bloody stop it, you two. So Rhea's like, okay, gets back in the ring, picks up what's left of IYO SKY, goes up to the top rope. She's going to hit like a super riptide off that. She says, hey, Bianca, see you bloody WrestleMania, Cobra. But she takes too much time. Sky counters with a Hurricane Rana off the top. Moonsault, 1, 2, 3. IYO SKY is your new world champion. Big surprise, this. She's ecstatic. Pyro goes off. Bianca can't believe it. Neither can Rhea Ripley, who is absolutely livid. What an end to this show.
A really good end to the show. Really happy for IYO SKY. She breaks that awful curse of people not giving a toss about wrestling, because she's quite frankly so electrifying and her stuff looks so great. So I'm really happy for her. I think the meritocracy, she has absolutely earned it. Had one of the better 2024s in the ring in that women's division. I mean, realistically, her and Vaca are just clear of everyone else in the promotion, so it's good that WWE has recognised that. This match at times resembled my high hopes for it, but my God, Rhea Ripley had a shocker in the first few minutes. There was a sequence, rather than nearly dropping her on her head, beyond that, there was a sequence where I think one of them was going for a roll-up, and Rhea Ripley was completely out of position. And it's like she was wrestling, she might as well be on SmackDown for she's in a different time zone, Yeah. Different wavelength, different, part of the world, of the metaphysical world. That didn't look good. They gelled pretty soon after that, but then there was the odd moment in the first half of the match, especially, where it's like they're just not coming together. That IYO SKY sunset flip into the barricade powerbomb looked like the only word is majestic. Looked beautiful. So that was really strong. Very dramatic. I'm not convinced that, especially given that they've built tension between Rhea and Bianca, that's what informed Io's title win, that they're not. This will be a triple threat.
Like a rematch clause or something?
Yeah, and then that can go to a double pin. They'll do something. This has got a triple threat written all over it for me. I was happier with the result and on behalf of IYO SKY than I was with the match. Frankly, I expected a lot more from it.
Yeah, I was thinking that when you were saying that there.
It at times resembled what I wanted it to be.
Yeah, did they go into this match knowing what was coming, obviously, or what we think is coming, let's say, and going, we're going to put on a great match, obviously, but in 6 weeks or whatever it is, we're going to be doing this again with the addition of Bianca Belair. Let's not. But then again, why not do that? Because if you could have that spot and then people would be like, oh my God, that happened in their title match. But now you've got the added emphasis of Bianca Belair being involved in it. Regardless, like I say, I would have been happy, I think, with any outcome. I think IYO versus Bianca, which is right now what's on the docket, obviously. Great, right? You've got that. You had potentially then you had potentially Bianca versus Rhea. Obviously, that's been built to, as you mentioned, for a long time. Or the triple threat. Like, I know some people aren't hugely excited about the number of like multi-person matches. This one, I'm kind of like, I mean, it's 3 of the best that they've got. So let's go for it. But a real surprise, I thought, it was going to either go to some sort of shenanigan finish, or I don't know how you would have got to IYO being re-added to the match if Rhea won. But regardless, I was just like, that's great, because it was like, it's been quite a short run for Rhea, hasn't it? Like, I read somewhere 50 odd days. No, she's not had the title for a long time since she won it off Liv. One defense, I think Andy said, against Nile.
And it was poor.
Yeah. But yeah, it adds to all the excitement of all this. And yeah, very happy for IYO SKY.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give WWE credit. Like, I think once the old dust is settled on WrestleMania in the build, it's a different strategy of putting together 2 characters on a collision course, and you know what's happening and you know when. The only real mystery is how they get to it. And they basically give you a good story between 2 characters that you want. This feels like a total 180 of, we'll give you loads of red herrings, loads of permutations. We'll settle on one eventually, but we're not going to let you know until we decide to. And I think maybe time will be kind to this Mania, Bill.
I think so.
We'll see.
But a really enjoyable episode of Raw post-Elimination Chamber. And that's it. Now we're on the final stretch of the road to WrestleMania. Let us know your thoughts on Raw and on the events of what happened on last night's show in the comments section. While you're at it, you can follow us all on X at WhatCulture WWE. You can follow Michael Sidgwick at...
I'm Sidgwick.
Weird to you going to you first, sorry. You can follow our brilliant producer, Adam Nicholas, at...
It's Adam Nicholas.
And you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. And make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Me and Sidge will be back later on today to preview NXT. And while we're at it, why not check out Ups and Downs today? There's a rather handsome man presenting it. But for now, this has been the Raw Review. Thanks to Michael Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon.